Alright, source code. This is Robot Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball. Again. And... we're doing another score battle.
And... that was a complete fail.
I'm not sure. Do you follow Eric Asmussen on, like, at all?
Sorry, what was that? Eric Asmussen what?
Eric Asmussen, he's the dev of this game. Do you, like, follow what he's been doing at all? Or no?
No, not really. I don't follow him on Twitter.
Okay. Well, he's been getting kind of political, and a lot of people are upset with him, but I think he's totally in his right to get political.
Like, what is he doing? Is he criticizing Trump supporting Hillary?
Yeah, it's... well, he's criticizing Trump, but he's also, like, criticizing, like the people in the alt-right and saying, like, you make a game. Why can't you just talk about games? We don't need this politics. And he's like, okay, that type of escapism is exactly why we're in this mess in the first place. Like that. But, anyways, he started making a new game that's kind of like... I don't know how to describe it. It's like Civ and Catan, but, like, it's single player, and the whole idea is you're just, like, strategizing how you build the roads and farms and all that. That's what I was trying to get to. Are you gonna play it all, or are we just gonna stare at the
Yeah,
wall?
I'm playing. I'm just updating my username.
Oh god, I know where this is going. Don't put my name next to that flippin' monkey's name. I am actually going to sue. If I move just right, it looks like curly fries. Wow! Edmura. Helicopter, 360 no scope. I don't... what's the name? Oh! Oh no! 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 Jake, flip it around and then censor it immediately. Ah. I've been dipped. I've been souped. That's... what? I was nowhere near that ball.
Good.
I am no dodgeball. What? You got like flipping like yo-yo ball string on that thing? God dang. Ay, ay, ay. Did I ever tell you about, like, or have you ever heard about how, like, John Kay of Ren and Stimpy fame was, like, a dick?
No, what was this?
So, this was a long time ago. This was back, actually, like, during the production of the show. You can, like, pick up hints of it as you watch.
What? Why? You're going from one end of the room to the other in, like, half a split second. What's going on?
Well, your ping, Edmura's ping is 114,
yeah.
And mine's 51.
Alright, that's why this is ping.
Yeah, this game's netcode is okay, but not fabulous.
Tell Eric to fix that.
It's not like I personally know the guy. It's not like I go over and be like, hey, yo, Mr. Dodgeball, get out here. I've got something that needs working on. And then he's like, please don't knock. My kids are asleep. And I'm like, hey, Mr. Dodgeball!
He has kids?
Yeah, he does. He's like 30-something. He's like Scott Cawthon, but not making bear games. But
Scott really needs to stop making spoopy bear games.
I just want the Desolate Hope 3. Or the Desolate Room. I don't know how it works. The Desolate Room 2, the Desolate Room 3, the Desolate Hope 2. The Desolate something. You see, it went around. I sidestepped. But I've been trying to say for 2.5 minutes now. I'm so good at words. John Kay, for Ren and Stimpy, you can kind of pick up on it as you watch, but he was very abusive towards his production studio, or his production staff. And so many scenes got, like, sent back to Rough Draft Korea to get reanimated because he was just not happy with how one little thing was. So as a result, like a lot of episodes went like years on hiatus. And he was always like super abusive, super abusive towards his staff. And two of his most like terrifying characters, Anthony's dad and then George Liquor, were supposed to be like parodies of his own father, and that was how that's kind of how he justified his abuse towards his staff, was because his father was abusive. But eventually, about one season into Ren and Stimpy, he was actually kicked off the project and wasn't allowed back into the studio. At which point, he began like threatening Nickelodeon and a bunch of other people. He was still making money from the series, but this is when Nickelodeon Games stepped in to animate. This is when Billy West took over for both Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
That shouldn't have been... I shouldn't have survived that.
But that's... See, I hate it when creative talents, whether it's directors or producers or something, I hate when they're abusive to their whole collaborative team of cast members and crew members. I hate that
it's horrendously shitty.
Because here's the thing. No matter what you're doing, if you're making a movie, filming a TV series, making an anime, cartoon, or a video game, the number one thing that you should do as a director with your cast and your crew...
Woo!
But the point I'm trying to make is that you are bringing a bunch of creative talents together to bring something that's a couple of words on a piece of paper to bring it to life. You know, your actors, your actresses, your crew members, you are bringing something to life. And if you're going to pull shit like that and be abusive to them and treat them like crap, that's... I mean, they might put up with it and stick with it to the end, but morale, creative and emotional morale is just going to go down. I know for a fact that I know there are so many. There's one director, David O. Russell, who made movies like American Hustle and Joy with Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper. He, at one point, in one of his earliest films that he had with George Clooney, he was really ragging on one of the crew members because they weren't doing something. So what George Clooney did was he came in and he decided, and he was basically said to David Russell, was like, hey, you're being a bit of an asshole right now. You shouldn't be doing this. And they almost got into a physical fist fight altercation on set. And I'm just like, if you're David O. Russell, or if you're going to act like David O. Russell, or just be an asshole towards your cast and crew, you should not be directing or doing anything on that set at all. Because all you're just going to do is just make things worse, and you're just going to destroy everyone's creative process and mojo. So, I will never be like that if I ever should do something like that, but I don't know, apparently some directors have big egos that they just can't put cast behind them when they step on that set.
Oh, yeah. And the big thing was, like, especially for Nickelodeon, it's hard to make the call on should you get rid of the person who's making the most successful animated series on your network. Because this was back when there were only 3 animated series on the channel. Nobody was really like...
now, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it wasn't like now. Like, they had 3 things, and one of them was Doug. One of them was straight up Doug.
I remember the Doug.
Like, no one watches Doug. So
unless you're a 90s kid.
Nobody in the 90s watched Doug. That wasn't like a thing you did with your time.
That's sad. Because I remember watching a couple episodes of Doug when I was a kid, so I guess I'm in the minority.
Well, I mean, it's okay, but it's... I mean, the big thing is, it's not Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy revolutionized animation in the 90s.
Cartoon. Yeah. But, I mean, it's...
Well, the whole...
Again, it's...
Back to my John K. thing, though. The plot actually thickens. Sometime after he left and Game took over, they did an episode called Reverend Jack Cheese, where Ren and Stimpy are working for this reverend who's super abusive towards him, changes things on a whim, needs everything to be perfect, and then at the end says that he has a vision from God that his father's coming after him to kill him. So they drive off and just drive for months and months. And Ren and Stimpy are both like, we haven't had any work for months. Go see what the Reverend's doing. And he's doing absolutely nothing. Like,
that's kind of a dark plot.
Well, that's the idea. Like, the whole thing is just them riffing on John Kay. And then
I know that, but I'm just saying, even still.
That was like the whole... They did a whole song about, like, hanging yourself. And it's actually like...
Oh, God.
You have never heard that song?
If you can send me a YouTube link...
Do I need to send you a link to the flippin' The Lord Loves a Hanging? It's the dumbest thing ever.
Properly.
But, like, that was, like, the whole tone of the show. It was just, like... Like, they would do, like, explicitly terrible things in hopes that those get taken out in favor of, like, keeping all of their more subtle jokes in. But Reverend Jack Cheese ends with the Reverend having this, like, mental breakdown and running off into the sunset, leaving them with the wagon. It cuts 4 years later. They're back. Okay, they're back again. Like preparing meat and telling stories and jokes for the kids. The Reverend throws a rock at him, and he's like aged horribly. He's like wearing a ham, and he yells like drunkenly, like, "Go back to Chicago, you crooked-nosed Swedes!" And Ren and Snippy are like, "Well, I guess we're living with this forever."
That's
the whole episode is messed up, but in the context of, like, this was every single writer and every single storyboard artist just getting to make one good jab at John Kay, and it's like the whole episode is like hundreds of like jokes and take that's at their former producer, and a lot of them are super subtle and a lot of them are super like absurd and blatant. It's such a good episode that really gets this idea on just like how hard it was to work with someone who was so overconfident with their project.
Yeah.
Anyways, so after Ren and Stimpy came to an end, I'm sorry that I keep throwing these very obvious pot shots, but
at this point, I don't care who wins.
You can still throw dodgeballs. That's part of the game.
Yeah, but I don't expect to win. I never expected to win in this game. I always expected to win at Black Ops when you're playing it.
Well, nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
But this John Kay guy, yeah, it sounds like he's a real douchebag, and now it's gonna...
It's super interesting to hear him, like, talk about what he loves, and super interesting to see him, like, working, but he is, like, not a good producer. That's, like, the biggest thing I've gotten from this. He was actually, believe it or not, one of the first pioneers of Adobe Flash.
Oh.
He was like one of the very first Flash animators, like 1998, I think, with the goddamn George Licker program. Like, he bought the rights to that character from Nickelodeon. They wouldn't let him keep Ren and Stimpy, but he bought that, and he just ran. And after Flash came out, he pretty much told everyone that he was done working on traditional animation. Like, he would never touch a pen or a drafting board again. And from what I get, he actually gets discounts on the monthly or yearly license for Toon Boom, just because, just like how abstract and broken he makes his animations really astounds the people who work on the program.
Right.
Because he's gotten much more, like, loose, and it's a lot more abstract than it ever was. Like, he never kept reference sheets or anything like that, and, like, now, like, he doesn't even keep like a model, like an on model. It's just whatever he draws is just how it is.
Right.
But the big thing that frustrates me about about him, I'm not sure if you know, but he has a blog. Oh my god.
Yeah, you were saying?
He's got a blog where he like talks about animation, and like he's done like the stuff where he talks about like how.
Keep going.
Like he talks about how Nickelodeon and Shout Factory have butchered the DVDs of Ren and Stimpy, and he talks about like the process of what is it called? Restoring, like digital restoration, and how that gets messed up.
Yeah.
But he also reviews movies and TV shows that come out. The highest rating he's ever given a film was he gave Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs a 0.
Seriously?
Yep, that was the highest rating.
I thought Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs was alright for what it was, but I thought it was a good film nonetheless. Not the best.
Well, again,
good.
that's his highest rating. That's the film, and that was the thing that he's reviewed that he thought was the best.
Yeah.
He praised the CG and how distorted they could get the models looking for CG. Like it wasn't like straightforward. And I think he praised it was either like the set design or the color choice. But again, because it came out after 1980, he hates it. I think like really like one of the very few shows that he's given praise for was like one of the 57,000 anime. Like, that's like pretty much the only TV he watches anymore if you read his blog.
Anime. Of course. Anime gets a pass.
Flippin' Canadian weeb. I don't know.
Somebody
interesting guy
should
to
throw some hands at that guy.
He's a very interesting guy to psychoanalyze. There's a lot of complexity and a lot of... I mean, he was still, like, an insufferable bitch, but...
A douchebag.
It's super interesting to see, like, how someone like that operates. Like, he's one of the people that are, like, if you're making a TV show and your biggest selling point is it has a good story, you're not really making a TV show. Or no, if you're making a cartoon and your selling point's the story, you're not making a cartoon. And that was like one of his biggest criticisms with like Over the Garden Wall and Gravity Falls and all that type of stuff, is it had no reason to be animated. It could have been live action. Which, I mean, partially, I can agree, but at the same time, I think it's more about... Oh, yeah?
I think it's... The thing is, I mean, to a degree, I kind of agree with them because I really do believe that it doesn't matter what format you're telling the story in, whether it is a movie, a TV show, or a cartoon, a video game, or a comic book, or a book, or a novel, whatever. I really do believe that as long as there's a good story to tell and people like it, you know, there shouldn't be too much of a problem. But then again,
well, his big thing is like people are underutilizing animation. Like that's his biggest gripe. Is you can make anything you want, but you make all these clean, like thick-lined, like solid character designs, and you put them in realistic situations. Why are you animating them?
Right. Not to get off topic though, but speaking of animation, one thing I've always wondered is how come it seems like almost every episode the characters wear the same clothes. It's like, can't they just like swap out like a new pair of clothes or something, or is it budgetary costs or something?
Actually, I really like that you mentioned that, because it's fun to see that get deconstructed by TV shows. Like,
yeah.
The two that come to mind, Steven Universe, Steven's always wearing the same shirt because he's got multiple copies of the same shirt because there was all merchandise from his dad's failed band.
Yeah.
So, like, how they justified it there was, like, super cool. But then... Oh my gosh. Now, great time to draw a blank on the show I just literally have been watching. Jesus. Oh, okay, I win. I'm gonna make this we're gonna do a quick final round so I can kind of wrap this up.
Yeah, because I got stuff to do as well.
Alright.
But anyway, that's just the thing. Is it's like I've always wondered that as a kid. It's like these cartoon characters, and as well as just like anime characters.
Oh, that's
they all
what
wear
it
the
is.
same clothes all the time. It's it's like
the other show that was coming to mind. Star vs. the Forces of Evil. She actually has a bunch of different outfits, and they mix and match pieces of it for each episode. So in a way, it's like still a limited wardrobe, but they still like make it different every episode, which I don't know. It's cool to see little touches like that, but at the same time, it's also great to see how they justify giving the character, because they just got to stick to the model sheet is the big thing. Because if you don't stick to it, you make changes, then those changes can pile up. So I just imagine they had to have just a ton of reference or a ton of model sheets to do something like giving a character like 5 or 6 shirts or something like that.
Okay, because I always thought that,
It's-
and I could have sworn because I heard from a couple of people saying that due to budgetary costs, because it's like if you like.
Well, yeah, it is
like,
budget, because if you do try to like say, oh, my character wears a red shirt in this episode, well, now you have to have like a reference for how that shirt looks in action, how it looks from the side, how it looks from the front and back. So that way it doesn't get off model or like animation errors end up like sticking. So in a way, it is a cost, and it keeps the production value cheaper, but it also makes it quicker because you're not trying to buy a flipping engagement ring for an outfit you're only going to use for one episode.
Right. Because it's like in live action TV, all these different actors and actresses, they wear all these different clothes at a time. But when it comes to animation, it's like these cartoon characters wear the same outfits for like 5, 6, 7 seasons, and it's like, do you know of such a thing called a washing machine or a laundry machine?
Oh, the other really good justification, Gravity Falls. Dipper apparently didn't shower because that's how he depicts like a rugged, hardcore adventurer like the author. So when he meets the author, and this is in journal number 3, the author's like, "This kid does not shower. Excuse me, what?" So again, like getting to justify it for the sake of comedy, like that's cool to see, and then also seeing a series that is willing to take the time and the budget to create additional models and references, so that way they can mix it up. I don't know. And like
I also feel like I also feel like in video games, that's the same thing too. It's like,
well, again, that's
very, very similar with animation. It's like it's like
because if you're like, oh, now like in this level, like the character's wearing a tuxedo, you don't have to build a full model of the character with a tuxedo. You have to rig it, you have to texture it, and when it's all said and done, you might have like a ton of files just related to flipping Nathan Drake in a tux. And you'll only use it for like 20 minutes.
Right.
So
well, what I've seen some developers do is that they just like create like the basic animations for whether it's through performance capture with an actor or if it's manually created animations. What I've seen them do is just create the basic animations, then they make like a flesh. Actual naked human body,
Ceasefire.
And then just like
Can you
parents,
come over here? I
like,
have to show you something. Where is it? It's one of these. I think it's this one. Yeah, right here.
But basically,
come over here.
But basically, it's what they do is like they, they'll like create a bunch of outfits, and then they'll just like parent those costumes to.
Don't throw the ball. Don't throw the ball.
Mesh.
Over here. Come look. There's a seam on this ramp.
Oh wait, is it?
Right here. Turn around. There's just
I see it.